Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this.
Did you say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is the relevance of that to this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
She strolled into that Senate hearing room draped in the self-assured confidence of a supposed First Amendment expert, fully expecting to lecture the committee on policy from an academic ivory tower. What she entirely failed to anticipate, however, was the meticulous preparation of Senator John Kennedy sitting directly across the dais. The senator didn't just show up to ask generic questions. He came armed with a devastatingly comprehensive dossier. Inside his folder was a meticulous compilation of her very own writings, a radical law review article, and a deeply revealing string of highly partisan tweets. These were all her own unvarnished words, originating from a woman who had just minutes prior, with a straight face, assured the committee that her extremist politics in no way shaped her professional judgment. What transpires over the next few riveting minutes isn't just a simple questioning. It is a masterful, surgical dismantling of academic hubris and arguably one of the most spectacularly uncomfortable and revealing stretches of congressional testimony you will witness this entire year. Here is exactly how Senator Kennedy set the masterclass in motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for having to miss the testimony of some of you, and I appreciate you coming today. Professor Franks, let me ask you, I listened to your and Ms. Hemingway's testimony and Professor Turley, so I got part of it. As I understand it, your position, Professor Franks, is that, I think you used the word myth. It is a myth that the Biden administration used government to compel speech, private speech, but that the Trump administration is doing that. Is that a fair characterization?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do you think perhaps you're allowing your personal political beliefs to affect your objectivity here?
No, I do not. What is guiding my answers here is that I'm looking to see what the Supreme Court has said. You notice that in the testimony about the censorship industrial complex.
I got that part.
No, I just want to clarify.
No, but I've only got 5 minutes. Your answer is no, as I appreciate it. Let me ask you a couple questions. You wrote a law review article in December of 2023 for the New York University Law Review, and it was about the two cases, Bruin, Supreme Court case, and Dobbs. Remember that article?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In this article, you said, I'm going to quote your words, "Taken together, these two cases demonstrate that the Supreme Court has embraced the use of the Constitution as a tool of racial patriarchy," end quote. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you went on to say, quote, "When the Supreme Court declares that there is a constitutional right to armed self-defense in public, it openly embraces and promotes a culture that privileges white men's ability to terrorize and kill those that they perceive as threats," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe so. Thank you for reading.
Okay. And did you also say in that article, I'm going to quote again, quote, "by simultaneously expanding white men's right to kill and constricting women's right not to die, this Supreme Court," referring to the current United States Supreme Court, "has turned the Constitution into a homicide pact as well," close quote.
What is truly remarkable here isn't just the shocking nature of the academic article itself. It's the sheer brilliance and lightning-fast speed of Senator Kennedy's strategic pivot. The senator wastes absolutely no time. He spends a brisk, efficient 2 minutes establishing the undeniable hypocrisy of her framework, gently coaxing her into admitting that she views the censorship behavior of one administration as a mere myth, while simultaneously condemning the other administration for the exact same conduct. Once the trap is set, he immediately begins reading her own aggressively partisan academic writings directly back to her. Notice his incredible restraint. He refuses to lower himself to arguing with her on the subjective merits of her radical theories. Instead, Kennedy employs the ultimate prosecutor's tactic. He simply lets her own extreme words do the heavy lifting. When he asks if her politics affect her objectivity, and she offers a flat, "No, I do not," Kennedy makes it his singular, undeniable mission to systematically obliterate that falsehood. And he does it not by raising his voice, but by methodically quoting her. Yet, the jaw-dropping Law Review article is merely Kennedy's warm-up act, because what follows is where the professor's facade entirely crumbles. Kennedy mercilessly pulls out her social media history. As the senator casually reads her unhinged tweets back to her, one by one, calmly posing the exact same devastatingly simple question. Did I read that correctly? The witness's frantic deflections begin to mount in a way that is agonizingly hard to watch. Stay tuned, because the next segment is where Kennedy's relentless pursuit of the truth causes her entire defensive narrative to collapse under its own weight.
Did you write that?
That sounds like me.
Okay. In November of 2024, you tweet, don't you?
I'm not sure what the current terminology is for it, but yes, I am sometimes on the social platform that was formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, you're on a lot, aren't you?
I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
You're trying to be provocative on there, don't you?
Again, I'm not sure what the relevance
Well,
of this question
let me
is.
show you the relevance. On November 7th, 2024, from your tweet, here's one of your tweets at 2:41 p.m., quote, "The majority of Americans hate women. The majority of Americans hate women more than they love anything, including democracy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
I am not sure what this has to do with the subject matter of this
Did you
hearing.
say it?
I do not have those words in front of me. I probably said something along those lines, but
Yeah,
what is
you
the
said it.
relevance of
Here
that
it
to
is,
this
big as
hearing?
Dallas, right there.
Yes.
But your political beliefs don't impact your feelings about President Biden or President Trump.
I don't have feelings about either of them. What I have
Sounds
is
to me
doctrine.
like your favorite feeling is anger. Let me ask you this. You issued another tweet. This was in May of 2022. You've just been tweeting up a storm. You said, quote, "There's a reason why the conservative-dominated Supreme Court thinks the Constitution does not contain a right to an abortion, but is convinced that it contains an individual right to possess firearms. And that reason is white male supremacy," close quote. Did I read that correctly?
Is there a question in this?
Did I read that correctly? That's
Is there
my
a question that is relevant to this hearing?
Did I read that correctly? Do you really think that the United States Supreme Court, you're an officer of the court, is guided by white male supremacy?
I believe that the First Amendment prohibits the president
Did you
and other
say
state
that?
officials for punishing people for
Did
their
you honestly say that, Professor?
I
And you
believe
expect us,
that the First
as a
Amendment-
Democratic witness, to take you seriously? Are you kidding me?
I believe that you should take
You
the First
heard of
Amendment
curb your
seriously, sir.
enthusiasm? Here's my saying, curb my nausea.
I
Thank you.
believe that you
The
should take the First
time has
Amendment
expired. Thank
seriously.
you. Senator Durbin.
This is the precise moment where Senator Kennedy's legendary cross-examination style becomes the undeniable star of the show. 3 separate times, he offers her a lifeline with a painstakingly simple binary question. Did I read that correctly? A straightforward yes or no. And 3 separate times, utterly cornered by her own written record, she cowers behind evasive non-answers. I'm not sure what the relevance is. Is there a question in this? I do not have those words in front of me. What she fails to realize is that in the face of Kennedy's ironclad receipts, every single desperate dodge inflicts infinitely more damage to her credibility than a simple confession ever could. The quotes aren't fabricated. They are verified, public, and undeniably hers. Dodging the reality of her own statements when the undeniable truth is sitting right there on the senator's desk doesn't look like confusion. It looks exactly like an admission of guilt wrapped in academic cowardice. The final, spectacular exchange lands with such seismic force precisely because Kennedy brilliantly shatters the established rhythm of the hearing. Instead of enduring another bad faith procedural dodge, the senator rightly abandons the formalities and delivers a dose of unapologetic, unfiltered reality. His legendary curb my nausea line is a triumph because it gives voice to exactly what every rational person watching is feeling. It's the very first moment in the entire grueling exchange where Kennedy stops playing the neutral inquisitor and forcefully calls out the utter absurdity of her presence as an unbiased witness. Let's trace the sheer genius of how he built to this climax. Kennedy didn't open with a fiery political attack. He politely summarized her own contradictory, partisan positions back to her. She confidently agreed to his characterization, and then the hinge of the entire hearing occurred. He asked if she was politically biased, and she claimed she wasn't. Kennedy spent the rest of his time beautifully proving that to be a complete fiction. He didn't debate her theories. He simply juxtaposed her sworn testimony under oath with a stark, undeniable paper trail of radical ideology from her writings on racial patriarchy to her sweeping, extreme generalizations about the American public on Twitter. As Kennedy transitions to her social media, her panic becomes palpable. When confronted with a shocking November 2024 tweet making absolute hateful claims about American voters, she immediately retreats to her safe space, questioning the relevance. But let's be honest, if the tweets were defensible, she would have defended them. Her frantic pivot to relevance before Kennedy even finishes the sentence only proves to the audience that the senator has struck a major nerve. By the time he presents the third quote from May 2022, her pattern of deceit is fully crystallized. 4 separate deflections to the same simple question. That isn't a witness struggling to remember. That is a highly educated woman making a conscious, calculated decision to evade accountability. Recognizing this, Senator Kennedy rightfully stops asking if she said it and strikes at the heart of the matter. Does she actually believe the radical, un-American nonsense she has built her career on? When she predictably tries to hide behind the First Amendment yet again, Kennedy expertly cuts her off and drops the hammer. Curb your enthusiasm, curb my nausea. Up until that exact second, Kennedy had maintained absolute, measured professionalism. That single, razor-sharp line cuts through the bureaucratic fog. It is personal, it is brilliantly sharp, and it is entirely justified, a necessary release valve after minutes of enduring a supposedly expert witness completely refusing to stand by her own words. Kennedy's masterclass is the gold standard of how a skilled lawmaker holding the moral high ground can use patience, preparation, and cold, hard facts to utterly expose a hostile witness.